I'm standing in Ruleville, Mississippi, a small town with a big legacy. Behind me stands a statue honoring one of the most important figures in the civil rights movement, Fannie Lou Hamer. Born in 1917 to a family of sharecroppers, Fannie Lou Hamer was the youngest of 20 children.
Being one of 20 children, a very poor family, sharecroppers in the state of Mississippi, I know what it's like to be hungry. I know what it's like to be without clothes. I know what it's like to be without food, to live in a 3-room house with no washroom facilities, just a 3-room shack. Favorite song was jump down, turn around, pick a bale of cotton. Jump down, turn around, pick a bale a day. Oh, Lord, I'll pick a bale of cotton. Oh, Lord, pick a bale a day. Jump down, turn around, and pick a bale of cotton. Jump down, turn around, and pick a bale a day. Jump down, turn around, and pick a bale of cotton.
Fannie Lou Hamer picked cotton from the age of 6. By the time she was 12, she had dropped out of school to work full-time. Fannie Lou Hamer attended a meeting plantation, at her local now church, known for birthing led the blues, by the student was her reality of poverty and hard labor, SNCC for short. That night, she decided to try and register to vote. That decision cost her her job, her home, and nearly her life. In 1960, less than 6% of the African-American Mississippi population was registered to vote. Voter suppression targeted African Americans through several different tactics.
You go to the circuit clerk at the county courthouse and you'd ask the circuit clerk, hey, I'd like to register to vote. He'd pull out a jar of jelly beans and ask you to he'd ask you how many jelly beans is in this jar. And if you didn't give him the satisfactory answer, that determined whether or not you got registered to vote. Or they'd ask you to do something like interpret a certain clause in the Constitution, say Article 3, Clause 5 of the United States Constitution.
When Hamer went to register to vote, her application and literacy test failed. During the bus ride back to Ruleville, the driver was arrested on account of the bus being too yellow. While everyone was held in the bus, Hamer began to sing spirituals, particularly This Little Light of Mine and Go Tell It on the Mountain. Her voice would eventually become one of the defining features of her activism. Upon returning home, Hamer was fired from her job on the plantation, where the owner W.D. Marlowe found out that she had tried to register to vote. Her singing on the bus and dedication to the cause had been noticed by local organizers, specifically SNCC Field Secretary Bob Moses. She was taken to a SNCC conference in Nashville and left eager to take on her new role as a community organizer. On June 9, 1963, Hamer and other activists were returning from a voter registration training program when their bus stopped in Winona, Mississippi. Hamer and the other activists were arrested in Winona for sitting at the bus station's whites-only lunch counter. In jail, Hamer and the others were beaten by police and other African American inmates who the police forced to use blackjack weapons. The damage done would affect Hamer's eyes, legs, and kidneys for the rest of her life. When they were released, they found out that Medgar Evers, the NAACP field secretary, had been assassinated in the driveway of his home in Jackson, Mississippi, only a day prior. She became a founding member of the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, challenging the all-white Democratic establishment at the 1964 Democratic National Convention. At the DNC, Fannie Lou Hamer testified on national television. She spoke about being jailed and beaten for trying to vote.
Mr. Chairman, and to the Credentials Committee, my name is Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer. It was the 31st of August in 1962 that 18 of us traveled 26 miles to the county courthouse in Indianola to try to register to become first-class citizens. We was met in Indianola by policemen highway patrolmen, and they only allowed 2 of us in to take the literacy test at the time.
Shortly into the testimony, Lyndon B. Johnson cut the broadcast in an attempt to turn attention away from the realities faced by Black Americans, such as Hamer. However, the testimony rebroadcasted that evening, and her story of being fired, arrested, and beaten for simply trying to register to vote and help others do the same reached millions of Americans. Although the Democratic National Convention refused to seat the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party as full delegates, the national attention Hamer's testimony brought to the cause would eventually lead to the Democratic Party banning discriminatory delegations in 1968. Her later work focused on economic justice, working on MLK's Poor People's Campaign by creating the Freedom Farm Initiative, supporting Black Mississippians by giving them jobs, housing, and livestock. Fannie Lou Hamer's fight for justice didn't end in 1964. Today, voter suppression still threatens our democracy, just in new forms. Her legacy calls us to act, to speak up, and to vote. Because when we vote, we carry her voice forward.
And if the Freedom Democratic Party is not seated now, I question America. Is this America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, where we have to sleep with our telephones off of the hook because our lives be threatened daily, because we want to live as decent human beings in America? Thank you.